At 78, Mick Fleetwood has finally broken his silence, and what he's revealed about Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, and the storm that brewed behind the music is nothing short of jaw-dropping. For decades, fans adored Fleetwood Mac as one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, their harmonies timeless and their lyrics hauntingly emotional. But behind the magic of songs like Go Your Own Way, Dreams, and Landslide, lay a story of betrayal, heartbreak, ego, and survival that could have shattered any other band 100 times over. And now, as the drummer and founding heartbeat of Fleetwood Mac, Mick Fleetwood has finally opened up about the years of chaos that defined their journey, the secrets that until now, no one had dared to fully admit. Welcome to Hollywood Vault 8 AM, where we peel back the curtain on the untold truth behind the legends you thought you knew. When Mick Fleetwood first met Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham in the early 1970s, the band was already struggling to find its footing. Fleetwood Mac had gone through lineup changes and internal rifts, but what Mick didn't realize was that inviting the duo to join the band would change the course of music history, and his own life, forever. What started as pure creative chemistry quickly spiraled into something far more complicated. Behind the scenes, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham's relationship was crumbling. The two lovers who once sang about endless devotion were tearing each other apart emotionally, and the rest of the band got caught in the crossfire. Mick Fleetwood, always the quiet observer, found himself trying to hold everything together, the music, the friendships, and the fragile egos that made up the band. But as he now admits, it came at a heavy cost. In a shocking revelation, Mick confessed that during one of the most turbulent times in Fleetwood Mac's history, he became romantically involved with Stevie Nicks himself. It was madness, he recalls. We were all broken, living in a haze of fame, drugs, and emotional confusion. We didn't even understand what love or loyalty meant anymore. That affair, as fleeting as it was, tore open fresh wounds within the band. Stevie Nicks, looking back, called it one of her biggest regrets, a moment where passion overpowered reason. It was a doomed thing from the start, she said years later. We were all just trying to survive, to create something beautiful out of all that pain. But the most shocking part wasn't the affair, it was how they continued to perform together night after night, smiling for the cameras, singing about heartbreak while living it in real time. Imagine standing under the spotlight, pouring your soul into lyrics about betrayal, while the person you're singing about is just a few feet away, watching drumming playing, pretending that was Fleetwood Mac. And Mick Fleetwood, for years, was the glue that held it all together even as everything was falling apart. How the endless tours, the fame, and the constant emotional chaos nearly destroyed him. He battled addiction, financial ruin, and personal loss, but through it all, he remained fiercely loyal to the music. The band was my life, he said. Even when it nearly killed me. One of the darkest moments came when Mick Fleetwood declared bankruptcy despite being one of the most successful rock musicians in the world. The millions he'd earned from sold-out tours and record-breaking albums vanished, lost to bad investments, extravagant living, and the high cost of maintaining the illusion of rock and roll perfection. I thought I had it all, he said quietly in a later interview. But I was drowning, in debt, in addiction, in regret. It was during this time that he began reflecting on his relationships, especially with Stevie Nicks. Their bond, though complicated, endured through the decades. While Stevie went on to become a solo star and a symbol of mystical femininity, Mick became the stoic captain steering the Fleetwood Mac ship through storm after storm. Yet, he admits that behind that calm exterior was a man haunted by his own choices. We were all damaged people trying to heal each other, Mick said. But sometimes, when you try to heal someone else, you just end up opening your own wounds again. The tension within the band never truly disappeared. Every reunion, every tour, every interview seemed to stir the ghosts of the past. But what few knew was that despite everything, Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks shared a mutual respect that transcended their mistakes. We've forgiven each other, Stevie once said softly. We've lived through things most people can't even imagine. Still, Mick Fleetwood's latest admissions cast a new light on what those years were really like, the drugs, the drama, the secret affairs, and the price they all paid for success. The world saw glamour and gold records, they lived heartbreak and chaos. We were living a lie wrapped in beautiful music, Mick confessed. But somehow, out of that insanity, came art that people still feel in their bones today. Now, at 78, Mick Fleetwood looks back not with bitterness, but with the wisdom of someone who has survived it all. He admits that his journey with Stevie Nicks was a mix of love, loss, and painful lessons. "If I could go back," he said, "I wouldn't change the music, but maybe I'd try to protect the people behind it a little better." His revelations have reignited interest in the band's history, reminding fans that the story of Fleetwood Mac is more than just rock legends and Grammy awards. It's a cautionary tale about fame, temptation, and the thin line between genius and destruction. Yet, even after all these years, Mick Fleetwood remains a man of rhythm, the heartbeat of a band that refused to die. As he continues to perform and speak openly about his past, one thing becomes clear. The secrets he's finally shared aren't meant to shame or sensationalize, they're meant to free him from the ghosts that followed him for decades. "You can't live your whole life pretending," he said. "The truth catches up to you. It always does." And with those words, the man who once kept every secret, every heartbreak, every silent cry behind his drums, finally let the world in. What we see now isn't the rock star who hid behind his band, it's the survivor who outlived the storm. Mick Fleetwood's legacy is no longer just about the music, it's about the courage to face the past and find peace in the truth. And as for Stevie Nicks, she too has found her own kind of redemption, still singing, still shining, still carrying the memories of a band that changed the world. Because in the end, the real secret of Fleetwood Mac isn't what tore them apart, it's what kept them together through it all. This is Hollywood Vault 8 AM, bringing you the truth behind the legends. The stories they never wanted told until now.